And the last slide will have a trivial quiz. And once you get there, you're going to get your 100% completion. Okay. You need to, depending upon the subject, I may have at most 3 mini quizzes. These are quizzes that has anywhere from 3 to 5 questions regarding that presentation alone. I tend to divide them by kind of the definitions, a little bit of comprehension and applications. So you got to pass the definitions at 85% level. You got to pass the comprehension at 80% level. You got to pass the applications at 75% level. You can take them as many times you want. I mean, at some point, you're going to run out of the questions, but especially the application questions, they're going to be open-ended. So you can't simply say eliminate all the answers from multiple choice. I can make it multiple choice, but then it becomes a kind of activity for some of you. Let me do it as many times as I can so I learn the correct answers by giving the incorrect answers. No, I'm not going to do that. You'll get multiple choice questions in the final exam. And here's kind of the final exam looks like. I'm going to have somewhere between 30 to 32 questions. About 20 conceptual or technically non-quantitative. Remaining quantitative questions. And about half the questions will be from required topics. So I'm going to tell you what the topic is. Valuation of a floating rate bond. It won't be that granular, but or bond valuation. You know exactly where you're going to get that question. About half from optional topics, which means I give you a small menu of topics and you choose your topic for that question. So about half the stuff is going to come from stuff that you are you feel the strongest at. Okay. By the way, just for the hell of it, last semester I gave him a choice about the exam type. I said, you get one of the 3 exams. Either the first one is traditional. I give you 32 multiple choice questions. You give me 32 answers. Done. There's no choice. There is no degree of difficulty selection. No nothing. We call it your mama's exam. Okay. The second one is almost like your mama's exam, except on half of the stuff you get to pick the topics like this. And the third one I call a dial-in exam. You guys have seen a version of that previously, where in each question you get to pick whether it's an easy question, intermediate, or challenge question. The rewards are different. You know, if you pick an easy question, the max you can get is 80 or 85. If you pick a challenge question, well, you can score up to 125. If you pick an intermediate question, it's 100 points. You can also downgrade back and forth once you see the question. That's the dial-in exam. I would understand if the students had not picked that. I get it. Now, if you think about it, in the presence of number two, no rational person should ever pick number one. Okay. Guess what percentage of my business 302 students picked number one in the final exam? At about 90 students, enough for a empirical work, about 50%. So half of my students did said, I don't want no stinking choice. Give me 32 questions that I know nothing about ahead of time instead of picking my topic. And oddly, I mean, that was one of the reasons I did that experiment. There's an issue with numerical literacy. I'm not talking about financial literacy. This is numerical literacy, thinking about stuff. Uh, Among finance and accounting majors, that ratio was only 25%. It was even higher among just finance majors. Among marketing, management, general business majors, that ratio was 65%. So two-thirds of our non-quant, or I call them non-numerati, students do not want choice, or they don't want to think about it. I mean, if you strictly speaking, apparently there is a disutility of thinking about it. There's a perceived disutility of thinking about it. So numerical literacy actually affects them. You guys will not get that option, but you will get to choose degree of difficulty of the questions. I'm basically sticking with that. Uh, there are good reasons why I'm doing it. One, it actually gives me your subjective opinion of what you think about a topic in terms of your skills. So if I told you the topic is valuation of stock options, which is something we're going to cover, and you said, please give me an easy one. If all my class says, please give me an easy one, it tells me one of two things, or maybe both. Either A, that really is an inherently hard topic, or B, I haven't done a good job teaching you that. But if all my students picked challenge questions, then I've done a good job probably. Or that's a very easy topic. Either way, I get your unbiased opinion before you even see the question. Not unbiased, subjective opinion. You make that choice before you see any questions. The only thing I tell you is the topic. And you say, okay, I don't feel that good about this topic. Let me pick an easy one. Why? Because it may be a lot easier to get 80% or 85%. But if you pick a hard one, there's a good chance you're going to get a zero. You'll make that assessment yourself. Then once you see the question, if you pick the harder one, I actually give you an option to downgrade, but that has a cost. So normally, if you picked an intermediate question, you get 100%, right? And you see a question, you say, man, this is something that I may not be handled. You say, give me an easier one. I do give you an easier one, but you get only 80 instead of 85 you would have had you picked intermediate from get-go. Same thing with challenge. Some students pick challenge questions quite a bit, especially on the numerical ones. So theoretically, you can score over 100% in my exams. You can definitely score over 100% in Jeopardy. A, if you challenge people and you're right, and B, your group wins the tournaments. I mean, I had students in the past that averaged 115% in Jeopardy. Typically, an average class averages anywhere between 80 to 85 from Jeopardy. So it is a lot of work, but you also get a lot of points from it. And this includes baby finance classes, where a lot of students are not even into it. Oh, by the way, I allow you to talk to each other during that activity. It is not an exam activity. It's a kind of a weird uh, classroom activity. And you guys have seen Jeopardy before. We always have discussion about why is that the right answer. Now those are going to be part of participation grade as well. So if you simply say, I don't know, then you're not participating. I'm trying to kind of force feed you into thinking, because without thinking, you don't go anywhere. In terms of plan this week and next, we will review some basic skills on time value of money. And in the context of that, some basic Excel skills, because Excel is our calculator in this class. If you want to use your own financial calculator, that's your business. Some people find this rude a little bit, but I really make way too much money to teach you how to use your own financial calculator. Hey, there are many kinds of them.